How many beers have you had today?
I think 3.
3?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Three beers?
Yeah.
11:44 in the morning.
That's right.
Going in to see Donald Trump.
Right, exactly.
The Good Liars were out at Trump's recent rally in Greensboro, North Carolina, talking to some of the most unhinged people you can imagine.
You're fine with transgender
Force your
people?
lifestyle over onto us.
But I don't think anybody's trying to force it on
No,
you.
it is, man. It's
It
being
is being
forced through the media and through all the other junk
Mass
going on.
It's just
manipulation.
I think it's
Go
just
to the school
acceptance.
books, man. Go to the cartoons. Go to TV. It's all over, and it was forced on us, just like all these lies that the media puts out there.
But just saying that somebody exists is not forcing it on them.
Trump supporters love nothing more than playing the victim. They constantly posture as if there's a shadowy underground conspiratorial effort to ruin their lives, when in reality, they just can't come to terms with anybody thinking or looking differently from what they perceive as right.
I was saying before that I really believe that this administration is totally desecrated, cremated our nation, and it's in ashes right now. With all the stuff going on at the universities and everything else that's going on with prices and corruption and everything
Across
else.
the board.
Across the board. Yes.
Mind you, Jimmy Carter?
Yeah. And the sad thing is what this nation needs are two things, really, and that's God.
Well, you weren't old
and
enough to
that's-
vote
and
when
that's
Jimmy
Trump.
Carter was president, so.
This Wisconsin Trumper echoes the conservative victimhood complex more subtly. Regardless of facts, to her, Joe Biden is moving the country farther away from God and Christianity, a talking point, let's be frank, we become all too familiar with.
And they turn it into this hate thing where most of us would be like, you do you, leave us alone, but they're really affecting this culture and the society, and we don't want America as that.
Do you think President Biden is doing that?
There's something going on with the push now, the way it's been rammed so far down our throat.
Well, pushing this woke agenda, that's a big issue. That's a made-up mindset. To me, it's like it's a mental issue, but that needs to go away.
If somebody was, an American who was born gay thinks that the presidency matters and their issues matter, what would you say to that person?
They need to read the Bible. They need to read the Bible. Ain't but one thing you can believe and trust in this world today, and that's God's word.
What we're seeing is an awakening in this country and a returning to godly principles, godly morality. We have no more tolerance. Tolerance is not a virtue in the Bible at all. Tolerance means to simply turn a blind eye to the convictions you once held, and that is going to be gone. We're not going to be tolerant of sin. We're not going to be tolerant of the woke agenda, of the radical left. And Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States. That's very clear. And we're doing everything we can to see that America turns back to God, that America has another great awakening like it did in ancient times past, and that this nation becomes a Christian nation again. We want Christian elected officials. We don't believe in the separation of church and state to such a radical degree that we become a Marxist state. Okay, this is separation of church and state was never supposed to be confused with what we see now. Many of these people in the Democrat side are more Marxist than anything else. The doctrine of Karl Marx, right, in his Communist Manifesto, is the abolition of Christian morals, values, and church. I mean, completely do away with it. And that's what's happening here in this country. And we're done with it. America's done with it. The MAGA base is done with it. We're done with it. We're done with it.
The material conditions that would lead somebody to vote for a MAGA candidate have to do with everything a MAGA individual stands against. And that is the LGBTQ plus community getting more rights, having more visibility in this country, and making sure the government treats them with respect and fairness, right? Talk about gender affirming care, that being put more into the forefront of the conversation. That's also something that would lead these bigots and unhinged individuals to vote for a MAGA candidate, as well as Black people, other marginalized communities getting more rights. And then you have to address how there's no tolerance whatsoever, no acceptance of other religions being practiced in America. Because the MAGA community, it's all about Christianity. And a lot of it, Christian nationalists, if we're being clear. So that it just shows you how arrogant and how much more superior these people feel compared to individuals who do not look like them, who do not practice the same religion, who do not have the same sexual orientation. One of the most despicable parts of the Republicans going all in on Christian fundamentalism is how more people were going to be emboldened to spew garbage like this.
By the way, God is far right. Never forget it. He doesn't just come in and say, oh, well, you know what? If you decide two men, you want to be married and you really love each other, I'll give you a pass. He said, no, marriage is between one man and one woman. That's red. That's called conservative. That's called righteous. The liberal left, they're not purple. They love the fact that they're blue. And boy, not just blue, they are dark, black, evil.
I say they're not just penned by man. They're written by the divine hand of God. And some of these amendments, the Bill of Rights, those things are divinely inspired.
The president could issue a proclamation that acknowledged that Jesus rose from the dead, and Congress could authorize the funds to have that proclamation printed and bound, read in all the schools, and posted in all the federal courthouses. That could be fun.
We are the church, and we run the state. Even if they don't believe it to be so, it is a fact. And if they keep pushing around with American people and they keep playing all these games, they're going to find out.
How are they going to find out? How are they going to FAFO?
Extreme accountability.
I love it. You're speaking my language.
The danger in listening to and believing religious crooks like these pastors is that you get a false idea of what Christianity is supposed to be about. You also have so much misinformation running rampant about what's actually in the Bible and how people use the words of the Bible. They hijack those words and they use them to get across their own agenda. That's what I really, really hate, right? And then the other danger is you're going to have people acting out on some of the messages that these pastors are putting out. Like the one lady mentioned it, extreme accountability. Well, we know what that means. You're going to harm people. So that's why it's really important to tune these people out and let everybody know how ridiculous they are, because they are obscuring the real benefits. They erase the real benefits of religious life. All right. And how it can become a positive. The way they're using it, it's only intended to bring more division and harm to our country.